Energy Ministry. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Congratulations for being nominated by the President.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It should be a very onerous responsibility at this time. So how are you balancing that with the excitement of the appointment?
Absolutely, and you are right. One, you're excited about the appointment, but like you said, daunting challenge, very, very Herculean task ahead. First of all, let me thank Almighty and thank His Excellency President Mahama for the confidence reposed in me. I don't take this lightly at all. But I thank my constituency and all of you Ghanaians, especially you guys. We've been in this job together, and so I can only express appreciation to you. But quickly, let me acknowledge that the task ahead is daunting, it's onerous, it's challenging, but I'm confident that given the caliber of people we have in Ghana, the expertise we have, together we can resolve these challenges that confront us, especially in the energy sector. Today we had a tanker meeting, and I can tell you the challenges are quite enormous, huge debt overhang, and a lot of the IPPs are threatening to shut down. Power supply ought to be stable and reliable. Gas supplies are equally threatening. Fuel supplies are threatening. So we have a huge challenge, but we would have to handle all this. We need some more gas. There are some bottlenecks. There are some legal issues that ought to be addressed. So the plate is already full, but I am confident that if we stay focused and consult more and open our doors and listen to good counsel and advice, we'll be able to surmount this Herculean and enormous challenge.
I see. I mean, indeed, the task ahead is a daunting one. And of course, you mentioned the fact that you had a meeting today. We know you chaired the technical committee the President put together yesterday or the day before to look into this matter of the GRIDCO report about an impending power crisis or maintenance by the West Africa Gas Pipeline Company. What really are the details of these? We hear that the West African Gas Pipeline Company has agreed to reschedule the maintenance work for some 2 weeks. Can you confirm that? And are we certain that within the 2 weeks we'll be able to turn things around and raise the $90 million we are told required for the purchase of some fuels for the thermal plants?
Not yet. OWAPCO has indicated that they'll go and do some technical assessments and get back to us. Like I said, the report confirmed that Sinona Sogli, for instance, has no fuel at all. ATPP and AXA, their fuel cannot even last more than 2 days. And the Pen Power has just about 22 days of fuel in stock. So we have a huge challenge, no doubt about that. And so the slightest disruption with gas supplies, we're going to have a major headache. So we are working around the clock to restock quickly and try and storm that period and hold the fort. But also, we are thinking of some medium-term remedial solutions to increase domestic gas, especially from the Jubilee fields to Ghana gas by about 30 MMscf, so that can bolster our domestic gas supplies. And Chief of Staff has been gracious. He's granted all the approvals required. We are going through the process. And so on emergency basis, PRA has been given the green light to proceed and secure some fuels, a strategic stock that can hold the system when we have such challenges. But we are thinking, and Honorable Atiforson is leading that process, so we can have a revolving fund and a dedicated escrow or sinking fund where some money can be kept for such emergency situations. We're just finding our feet. I mean, we haven't even had 1 week. I'm not even yet a minister. I'm a minister designate. Until Parliament approves me and I'm sworn in, I cannot be called a minister, so-called, and I can't give any instruction. That's why we have to rise to the Chief of Staff to support us. But we are determined to work very hard to ensure that both the power sector and the petroleum sector see some significant improvement. The meeting with the World Bank revealed that last year alone, The budgeted amount for shortfalls was 18 billion cedis. We can't continue. ECG losses is risen to 40%. Car Power has written to me and copied me that we owe them $370 million and threatening. ENI is also cautioning. Talo is cautioning. Pen Power is cautioning. Recently, you recall that Asogle shut down. Recently, they shut down because of debt that has still not been paid. And so the sector is hugely challenged. And even as I accept this onerous responsibility with humility and with some happiness, I must tell you, I'm very, very concerned and determined to work with all of you to improve the sector.
I see. Speaking about, the fuel situation and all of that, you chaired the subcommittee on energy, and your colleague Atu Forson also, I'm sure, chaired that of finance or was in the mix of the finance one. Didn't you pick up this in your deliberation with the outgone team? Why is it appearing that the fuel situation is like a surprise, or you've been shocked by it?
We did. On the 20th of December, thereabout, there was a major meeting where WAPCO was invited, and WAPCO briefed us that they initially intended undertaking this exercise in October. But Akufo-Addo administration prevailed upon them to push it to January so they can build adequate stock of liquid fuel. And at the meeting, it came to light that they have not procured those parcels of fuel, and that by the time we get to the 20th of January, we'll find ourselves wanting. So the Minister of Energy assured us that he had sent a requisition to the Minister of Finance. And the Minister of Finance, who is my co-chair, also assured that he will fast-track the procurement process so that we'll have adequate supply of fuel. I mean, given the trust that we all build amongst each other, I thought that it wasn't proper at that time to cry wolf and to sound alarm bells. You only sound alarm bells when it becomes really, really imminent. But when both parties are working around the clock and the minister assures you that he's released money and even assured us that he's released 70 million to GMPC. And as co-chair, just when my tenure was ending, I did further checks, and all the information I got indicated that despite the assurances, nothing had been done. I thought I needed to put it out there because I couldn't be sure that I would be a minister. And I thought as co-chair and exiting, at that moment, I needed to let Ghanaians know the state of the energy sector. And I don't regret that.
I see. So it does appear that the energy sector, of course, aside from the technical issues, is essentially an issue, or the problems there are essentially a matter of money. Is that not the case?
I think principally is money. But that challenge of money emanates from inefficiencies. Because if the ECG's losses are 40%, no matter what you do, you can't find a solution. Other countries are doing just 2-4% losses. So every $100 worth of power you buy and sell, you collect only 60%. And even with that, there are so many contracts, quality assurance, IT provision, and they are deducting monies at source. And so I've told the ECG MD, and this was instructions with the Chief of Staff, he should cease all payments for supplies. And we mean it. I've told them, don't do that. And if anybody is listening and within ECG, whether the finance directorate or whatever, these are the instructions that we gave you yesterday. Please don't. And I mean don't. But there are serious ramifications and serious consequences if you flout this directive. You must build some adequate buffers in order to anchor and hold the system. All those numerous accounts will be closed. That's a fact. We can't have over 70 accounts. We cannot monitor that. So we need to reform that sector. And we will reform that sector.
Talking about
The people
reforms,
of
the president hinted at privatizing ECG because of the losses and inefficiencies you've talked about. And of course, over the years, we've known about the inefficiency of the ECG. How does that or how would that privatization look like, given that we've seen PDS in the past and on all the matters that have surrounded same?
Yeah, the technical committee sent a recommendation to the chief of staff. We don't even want to wait till I am sworn in. We want to constitute a technical team to work with some consultants, with the World Bank, with the IMF, with AFDB, in a transparent manner. Let's first of all determine the framework on how we're going to engage the private sector, especially with the billing and collection, and possibly beyond that, so that we can set good KPIs, go through a competitive tender process, and get the best, so that we can improve the systems at ECG. My brother, the truth is that we have no alternative than to involve the private sector. Where we've gotten to, I tell you, that's the only option available. Let the private sector get involved. But we have to develop a strong monitoring and evaluation mechanism and ensure that they meet those key performance indicators.
I see. I know in the past there was $190 million from the Millennium Challenge, compact program that the Americans took back. Is it possible that you can re-engage with them to have this money given to us to help us, bridge the gap at least for some time?
No, we did. In November, President Mama led us to several meetings, including a meeting with the MCC in Washington. They indicated that the Compact 2 had closed and the money had returned to chest and they've exhausted it. So as for the 190, we are not going to get it. But they told us that there's a window of opportunity for further cooperation. But what will unlock it would be our own initial work and our own initial steps. So they'll be monitoring. When they are convinced that we are conducting ourselves in a transparent manner, in an open manner, they'll be willing to assist. And President Mahama assured them, because I led the energy technical team at that meeting. So we are clear in our mind what we intend to do. Let's do it well. Let's just do it well. Let's get it right. Let it be transparent. No cronyism, no favoritism, no underhand dealings. Let the best companies win it. And let's put effective monitoring and evaluation mechanism in place to address the challenge.
Very well. Thanks so much for speaking to us. We wish you the very best in this challenging role you have just been given, and congratulations on your nomination as well. So that's John Jinapor, a newly nominated person for the position of Minister for Energy.